Hello, Scorpio. Elsie here to do a reading for you, Scorpio. This is for the month of August. We're getting into the monthlies. Your weeklies will be coming up as well. Scorpio, I've got one deck here. We are going to look at 3 of these cards, these oracle cards, and then we're going to build on it with tarot. And we're going to look at beginning, middle, and end of the month. And just like that, we are in Leo season. So happy Leo season to you. Tell me what is coming up for Scorpio. If you have a placement in Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or Jupiter sign, this could be something for you. It's not going to resonate for everybody, so take what's yours, hey? And leave the rest. These are all predictions. Let's find out what's going on with my sister sign. One of my favorites. Shh, don't tell the other signs. Tell me what, Scorpio. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter for August. Okay, we've got be fearless and bold. Well, I don't think that's your problem. I think you do it in a bit of a silent way, but I don't think you have a problem being fearless and bold. Tell me more about August. Feels like this is going to be a very stable month for you. I think that the reason that you're being asked to be fearless and bold, because you might have to stand up to something, a situation, or a person. Be really bold, because I feel like you need to stand in your power. 4 is stability, but it's also Emperor energy, right? So I feel like you're going, badgers are little, but they are fierce. So it feels like somebody here is supposed to stand in their power, because it feels like you are going to have to be fearless and bold because of something that's going to be going on within the month, possibly closer to the beginning of the month. We have taken time out. Interesting. I'm going to say that, we got the badger and the bear. I'm telling you what, the bear's big, but it will back up when the badger shows up. It will. So I feel like this 9 here, it almost feels like take time out. Take time out to realize your power. Take time out to rest. Because I feel like you're going to be, feels like you're going to be in a street fight with something here, Scorpio. Tell me more. Oh, I love the elephant. It's one of my favorite cards. Learn from the past. All right. So listen, something could be coming up again. It could be cropping up again. It doesn't have to be a person, or it doesn't have to be about love, but if that's your lens, that's cool. But learning from the past is really important, right? Because it feels like there may have been something in the past that you possibly didn't feel that you could stand up to. But I think you're in a different place right now, Scorpio. It may have been something that you decided to go the Scorpio route with, which is, I'm just going to keep it under the surface. I'm not going to toss anything emotionally to or fro. I'm just going to be stoic on the surface. But I think this badger energy is a little more reckless. It's a little more Leo energy, I would say. It's a little more reckless. So I think that while you are standing tall and big and standing in front of somebody here, they don't realize how really fearless and bold you have become. Bottom of the deck, we have turn knowledge into wisdom. Very interesting. The wolf. This looks like a brown wolf, right? Whenever you see a brown wolf, it's intuition. And so whenever you see a brown wolf, your intuition is about to be confirmed. So if you're feeling like there is something that is going to crop up again that you're going to have to be fearless about, show somebody where your power is and how you stand in your power. It feels like you're learning from the past. You might be course correcting something yourself. Maybe you get a chance to course correct something. Like, I wish I would have stood up. I wish I would have said something. I wish I would have been more verbal. But turning knowledge into wisdom is really important, because then it becomes karma. It becomes part of who you are, right? We learn lessons, karmic lessons, and that's how we get through this life. That's how we get our wisdom. Tell me more about Scorpio. Tell me about Scorpio. Scorpio, thanks for your thumbs up and the way that you hype me and all that stuff. I appreciate you so much. It does grow this and is growing this tribe. Be fearless and bold. Let's find out what's going on here. We've got the 9 of Swords. It does feel like there's a little bit of anxiety as you think about the situation unfolding. So it could be that you're going somewhere and you know a certain person's going to be there, and you know you need to say something. But it feels like a little bit of nightmare fuel. It feels like it's worried about how it might come out, or how I might show up because it feels like you're in your emperor energy. And if it's not emperor energy, it just means that I feel like you've taken control of your emotions. You're deciding you're going to take control of the situation. It could be that you know somebody's going to be there and you're going to have to do something that is fearless and bold. We've got the strength card. Take time out. So it says here, hold back and wait for the right moment to strike, I think, because I feel like this, when bears show up, it can go either way. And a bear will leave if you yell at it, right? If you yell at it and make a lot of noise, bears will leave, and sometimes they won't. It depends. This is a brown bear. You can probably convince a brown bear to leave easier than you can convince a black bear to leave. I live in the north. So, got the strength here. I think that you're supposed to hold back and wait for the right moment to step forward. Find your courage and wait for the right moment to step forward. Tell me about learning from the past. See, this is a situation that I feel that you just walked away from because you're like, you know what? I don't need the stress of it. I don't need the chaos. I don't need the mental chaos of it. I feel like you just left it where it was. And I'm not going to say anything about it right now. I'll wait until I'm ready or wait till I'm prepared. That's a very fixed sign thing to do. Scorpio, it's a very fixed sign thing for you to do. Let's clarify just a little bit here. Tell me about this Nine of Swords and the Badger spirit. I think you really do have to stand up and say something. And it doesn't feel, for some of you, it could be combative. For some of you, it could be, you know what? I didn't say this to that person when they were around last time, and I don't want to leave them with the feeling of that I'm a certain kind of way. So I feel like for some of you, it's sort of emotional, and for some of you, it's something that you're maybe standing up to a bully or standing up to someone who usually someone doesn't stand up to them. I think you might be doing that. We've got the Four of Pentacles in the reverse. We've got the Two of Pentacles. You're going to be making a decision to stand up in front of somebody and say something, but it's going to feel super vulnerable. I think that you've been closed off or shut down when it comes to the subject or the person or the place of work, or it feels like you will be making a decision to become vulnerable, but I think that's the part that scares you. The part that scares you is flipping over and showing someone the white underbelly. I feel like you don't want to be vulnerable, and you're going to have to be vulnerable if you stand up here and say something. It's been holding under the surface for a while. Seven of Swords isn't always deceit, right? Sometimes it's just the concealment of something that we haven't addressed yet. We'll just leave it under the couch. We'll push it under the rug, whatever it is. It feels like there is something here that you've decided needs to be addressed. And the Seven of Swords is here, which means that I feel like there is something here that has been under the surface for a while, and you know that you're going to have to stand up and say something. But at this point, as I do this reading for the week ahead, I don't think you've yet decided what the words are going to be or how you should say it, because I don't think you want to come off as aggressive, but badgers can be pretty aggressive. We've got here in the middle of the month, we've got the Eight of Cups. We've got the Temperance card and the King of Swords. Well, I kind of love that because look, I feel like take the time out, be very strategic. I'm going to say if you're in a room with somebody and that person, you know that you have to confront them, whether it's in water or swords or whatever it is, fire. If you feel like the confrontation needs to take place, I feel like it should take place in a literal way. I'm going to say not an emotional way, because with the Eight of Cups here, it tells me detach from the emotional situation. And the King of Swords would never attach any emotions to a big decision. This is the person who makes the last decision. I think you're either making a final plea, or it almost gives me lawyer. Like I'm going to say that you're coming back with a rebuttal now that you've thought about it for a while, giving somebody all the reasons why they should, or all the reasons why it didn't go right the last time you saw them. Could be that as well. It feels like you're going to do it in a very temperate way. So temperance is here, and it feels as though it feels like you haven't had a chance to digest all the pieces of what went on back there. And it feels as though it's an integration of how I feel about it emotionally, how I feel about it intellectually, and that I need to find the courage to stand up and stop holding back, finally say something. But when I see fire, right, Leo, and we're in Leo season, by the way, Leo and the King of Swords, it almost feels like it could very easily get into very sharp words for some of you. If this isn't something that's emotional, it could get very fiery very quickly. So I feel like you're supposed to stick to the facts. I'm going to say, like a lawyer would, giving the rebuttal, sticking to the facts. It's not emotional. I'm just here to do business. That might be for some of you. Others of you might just want to talk to somebody about, can I have a second chance? Maybe the first time that we met, it didn't go well. Maybe you have an impression, I've left you with an impression of me. That's not really who I am. Tell me more. Tell me about learning from the past. I think you did learn from the past. I want to say that the Six of Swords tells me that you decided to get out of the chaos immediately. You decided not to approach it, not to say anything. I'm not going to do anything while I'm in my emotions. We've got the Nine of Wands. We've got the Six of Wands. And then we have the Eight of Wands. So this is an energy of moving forward here. But I think the only way that you can move forward is if you really release some sort of a burden. I really do feel that you're under this burden of, I really have to heal this. I have to say something that is going to heal the situation. There you are, Scorpio. You are at the bottom of the deck here. Yeah, I do feel like you're just going to blurt it out, my friend. I'm going to say pick the right time. Make sure your timing is good. But I feel like this Six of Wands and learning from the past, I think you have learned from the past. Maybe in the past you would have just said something and it might have gotten emotional. You might have just let the top pop off and all the fizzy stuff fall out the top, and I think this time you didn't. It feels like you held back or didn't say anything. So I think that the Nine of Wands here is saying, I think that you realize you may have hurt somebody's feelings or hurt somebody by not saying anything. It feels like this, the Six of Wands tells me that we've come from the fight, we've come from the war. This could mean you, this could mean them. But I feel like what it's saying with the Six of Swords is saying, I learned better. I learned how to get my victory. I'm not going to speak out of turn anymore when things are tense or chaotic. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to go to a calmer place, think about it, figure it out, and then I'm going to move forward. So I feel like you really have learned from the past. Whatever the past is, I feel like you're no longer going to be treating situations as you have in the past because you've now turned your knowledge into wisdom. It's become part of your self, the karmic self. It's a lesson that you've learned. All right, so we're going to go into the extended here. We are going to put down 3 cards. We're going to talk more about what's going on here. We will also talk about this. Oh, look at this. Time for a deep dive. We've got card number 6, right? That could be emotional deep dive. That could be lover's energy. Time for a deep dive because that is a swan. It does feel like on the flip side, I would say that somebody... maybe somebody feels like you're detached or that you really don't care about them. And I think that it's quite the opposite. I feel like what you're trying to learn to do is learn from your past because I don't think that this whole stoicism gig worked for you in the past, that maybe you lost out on something because you weren't able to show your vulnerabilities. So I feel like this is your intuition. It feels like this brown wolf is going to confirm your intuition that when you do finally take the deep dive and show somebody your vulnerabilities in the month of August, I feel like it works out in your favor. Let's put down 3 cards and then I'll tell you about how to get to the extended. Let's find out what's going on here. We've got the 5 of Pentacles in the reverse. I really do feel like you're reconnecting with someone. It feels like I've been quiet long enough, we've been detached long enough, or I've been detached long enough. It's time to come in from out the cold, reconnect with each other. We have the 9 of Cups. And I feel like when you see them, they might just greet you with a hug. That's what that feels like. It feels like somebody here, I'm going to say that someone here isn't feeling as bad about you being maybe detached or a little bit cold, detached from your emotions. I feel like this person is full of emotion. I'm going to say that it feels like when you reconnect, that there is a lot of deep emotion here. It's Piscean energy. I feel like somebody feels you. We've got the Death card. Yeah, something here is about to transform, and I think it's about to transform from the 5 of Pentacles in the reverse to the 9 of Cups. So I feel like we are moving forward into some sort of wish fulfillment. I think wish fulfillment is here with death being transformational. It feels like something is changing, and it's changing from a place where you felt in lack or you felt terrible, or it almost feels like you've been carrying around some type of burden that I don't think is yours to carry, because I don't think the situation is as you think it is. But somebody here may have seen you as detached, and maybe they just backed away knowing that maybe you just needed time to think about something. So I feel like it transforms into the 9 of Cups. I'm just going to say, bottom of the deck, 3 of Pentacles. Look, we're back in the friend group. You're back to being my friend. You're back. we're back to building that solid foundation again. It does feel like there is somebody who might be your friend. Maybe there was an argument amongst friends. Could be something that we didn't necessarily agree on, or we didn't get a chance to work out. We've got the Lovers here and the Two of Cups. Look, for some of you, I think it is that you weren't able to be vulnerable with somebody. And now that somebody may think that you're just detached and aloof and you're not interested or you're not attracted or whatever it is. And I think that you might be speaking to somebody about that probably in the month of August. So I'm going to go into the extended. I'm going to talk about all of this. We're going to clarify all of these deeply. We're going to talk about these here, talk about what sort of friendship is going on and how this knowledge is being turned into wisdom, and then it's going to allow you to take a deep dive, because I think you're about to be more vulnerable with somebody than you were before. So Scorpio, if you want to come to the extended, please look at the pinned comment. The pinned comment does have a link to the membership area. That's where I clarify all of this stuff if you're interested in showing up there. And if you're interested in a private read, if this is something you want to talk about, I am caught up on the reads, so now would be a great time to book. If you're interested in doing that, then please click on the link to Hypsee. My pre-recorded readings are no longer on sale. Thank you for all of those you that kept me busy. But the live reads are on sale, and they're always on sale. So if you're interested in booking any of that, take the link to Hypsee, go nose around there and take a look at my prices and packaging. I'm going to go for now, but I'll be back because I am always back. Can't leave you wandering about all alone. Might get into some trouble. But I'll be in the extended. Hopefully see you there. Take care. Bye-bye.